So, this is part 9. It seems like these Horror Night History installments get longer and longer every year I go through. As I descend into the darkness, which is consuming my soul, I will hopefully finish up with an account of the Bill and Ted's excellent Halloween adventure that was presented in 2002. Now, this was 2002 through to 2010 is 9. Mike Aiello said that he wrote the last 9 shows. This would imply that the good gentleman wrote his first show in 2002. I may not be correct. He may have skipped a year or two somewhere. I don't know. But I hope, if that were the case, that he did not actually write the original show for 2002, but was the script doctor who was called in to rewrite it. And I say this because the original show presented at Halloween Horror Nights in 2002 for Bill and Ted's excellent Halloween adventure, hello Bob, was probably the worst Bill and Ted they ever did. It was so execrable that they had to scrap the show in the middle of the event, shortly after the event started, and completely rewrite it for a whole different show, which was quite good. That one, I think, was written by Aiello. I think that for a number of reasons, because it had a lot of things that became trademarks of Aiello's later shows, including one big plot twist or fact that continues to appear in the Aiello shows that have run through to including his last show this year, as he moves on for other things and Patrick takes over next year. Well, the original show featured as its supervillain Simon Cowell, who had become famous in the United States earlier that year with the advent of the reality TV show American Idol. And Bob, what are you doing? Bob the cat is like right in front of me. You can just not see her because she's just below camera range, but occasionally she'll lift her head up and you see a little cute Bob face. Ooh, she's purring. I don't know if that's coming up on the microphone or not. Ooh, she's a little Bob. Yes. Yes. She's going to be HHN icon someday, she says. Yes. In Soviet Russia, cat combs you. Sorry. Anyway. Yes. So, Distracto Cat. Distracted me from my video. I don't want part 10 and 11 here. Come on, kitty. Ooh, yeah. Anyway. So, cute kitty aside. Simon Cowell was the villain, and the less said about that show, the better. So it was scrapped completely and replaced with an entirely new show. Now, in the new show, well, it was sort of a mystery at first who was behind all the evil. Yes. It seemed to be Dr. Evil! Yes, this was a part of Dr. Evil returned to plague Bill and Ted yet again, and it seems to be that this was part of an ongoing running gag. When the show is in trouble, bring in Dr. Evil. That's one of the reasons I think Aiello wrote this rewrite, because that continued to appear in later shows, that Dr. Evil would suddenly show up to be the villain when other things didn't work before. Alright. It was the 10th anniversary of Bill and Ted's excellent Halloween adventure, by the way. As some of you might realize, that show did not appear until 1992. So the one we just saw was actually the 19th Bill and Ted show over the years. And this was the 10th anniversary of the show. And it started out with a video of scenes from previous Bill and Ted's, just like this year's did. So it looked kind of familiar to a degree, and having seen some previous Bill and Ted shows. But then, instead of Bill and Ted, Dr. Evil appears. Evil, Dr. Evil. He claims that Bill and Ted are dead. And his plan is to take over television by capturing the first family of reality TV, the Osbournes. Because at that time the hit show was The Osbournes, featuring Ozzy and Sharon and Kelly and Chris and their dogs and cats in their house in California, proving that the crown prince of evil, the prince of darkness, was actually just your regular dad after all. Well, one that had been who had kind of, messed up his head from too much drinking. But anyway, I'm going to pause for one moment to do something. Because now it is getting a little dark in here for real. Although, daylight right here. Daylight. It shouldn't have been that dark, but I'm putting on a light. Okay. Oh. So I need to read my notes. I can't do this all purely from memory. I have to write notes. Alright. So Dr. Evil was threatening to kidnap the Osbourne family. Not the ones who have the lights at the Hollywood studios at Disney. No, this is Ozzy Osbourne's family. All right. Now, he was teamed up with Serlina, the female supervillain alien from Men in Black 2, which had been in theaters that year. And so Serlina and Dr. Evil were in cahoots to do wrongness to the world. And Serlina had become a part of this because he had given her Scooby-Doo as a bribe. Well, of course, Bill and Ted weren't dead. They had actually survived. It was, I think, David Arquette and Carrot Top who had been killed by Serlina by mistake. How they could have been mistaken for Bill and Ted, I'm not quite sure. But, of course, we have the same basic scenario. We have good guys, we have bad guys, and battles between them. Included amongst the evil side were, of course, Dr. Evil's little sidekick, Mini-Me, Darth Vader, Anna Nicole Smith, because she was still alive then, and although it was in bad taste, it wasn't anywhere near the bad taste it would be today. The Green Goblin from Spider-Man, and a few others. Really weren't that many villains in that sense. On the good side were the Scooby Gang, Gandalf the Wizard, Austin Powers and Foxy Cleopatra, because this was Goldmember time, Spider-Man, and the Powerpuff Girls showed up as well. There were references throughout the show to other things, to everything from Eight-Legged Freaks to Signs, the Shamalama Ding Dong movie that was popular back then. And there were some rather clever jokes. At one point, well, the Scooby Gang represented Daphne. People kept calling her Buffy instead of Daphne because of Sarah Michelle Gellar. And then at a couple points, she started fighting as Buffy style, a couple of points. Velma, of course, was presented as a lesbian, lusting after Kelly Osbourne and flirting with her, looking up the skirts of the Powerpuff Girls when they were above her. It was naughty. One of the more clever jokes, though, was to have, I think, is it J or K? I think it's J. The other guy is K. The white guy is K. Will Smith's character from Men in Black takes a coat off, and underneath he was Muhammad Ali, because Will Smith had played both parts in movies that same year. And as Muhammad Ali, he fought one of the bad guys. And behind it all, on the screen, supposedly the mastermind of evil, above Dr. Evil, that was behind it, was Triumph, the insult comedy dog, from, is that from Conan or Letterman? It's from one of those late night shows. But anyway, you know the dog, the puppet, and would threaten to poop on you. I will poop on your head, and whatever. And was behind the whole evil thing that was going on. Except that it would turn out that some of these characters were in disguise. At the end of the show, one of the first unmaskings was Darth Vader was unmasked to reveal Martha Stewart. And Martha Stewart, of course, said she would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those meddling kids and their dumbass dog, because the Scooby Gang was involved so much. But the big unmasking was when it turned out that Triumph the Insult Comedy Dogs, the hand up inside the puppet that was controlling everything, was behind it all, was none other than Sharon Osbourne. She was going to kidnap her own family to get him off of reality television, which would have been quite sensible, actually. I mean, would you want your family and all of their mistakes and problems to be shown on prime time to the whole damn world? Understandable. Of course, after this all was resolved, we had our singing and dancing for no reason. Everybody from Elvis Presley, Fat Elvis, because there was a big Elvis revival, I think, around that time. And also, of course, there was Eminem in his Robin the Boy Wonder suit from one of his music videos at that time. And other musical acts. I don't think this was the year the Beastie Boys were there. I think that was a couple years later. I'm pretty certain that was the same year they had the Wicked Witch, and that wasn't this year. Okay, so they weren't there. But they had other, the popular numbers and singing and dancing for no reason, like they always do. And so that was the first year that Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure was presented not at its old stadium show, which had been the Wild West stunt show, but now at Toon Lagoon in that auditorium. I've never seen whatever show they show at Toon Lagoon's Stadium Auditorium. It's some kind of comic strip toon show of some kind, I guess. I think it features Betty Boop and a couple other people. But I've never seen that show ever, so I have no idea what they do in that stadium, except for the Bill and Ted shows that showed there from 2002 through 2005. So, mystery for me there. Well, you know what? That pretty much wraps up Halloween Horror Nights 12, Islands of Fear. Yep. So, it took me 8 freaking videos, but I finally got it done. I hope that I can get through Halloween Horror Nights 13 in less installments. Anyway, this is Dr. Jimmy signing off, and I will see you soon, I hope, as we talk about 2003. Not only will I see you, but the director will see you now as well. You ought to be in pictures.